Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So Tim Bradley is back at it. I don't know what it is about PBC and the PBC fighters in regards to Tim Bradley, but he clearly has a bias towards any PBC fighter. Specifically, he has a bias towards Gervonta Davis. Now, most experts feel that Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is a very close fight. Even Shakur Stevenson feels like that's going to be a very competitive fight and a close fight. However, it's not what Tim Bradley feels. So here recently, Fight Hype dropped a video from Tim Bradley, and this was something that was recorded quite some time ago because I remember the other clips from this particular video, and they decided to drop this aspect of the interview from Tim Bradley, and I thought it was interesting. So I'm going to play this clip, just a little bit of it very quickly so you guys can hear what Tim Bradley had to say, and I'm going to come back and react to it.
Tanks don't get exposed soon. He won't get exposed soon. He get in there with the right guy, Shakur Stevenson. He gonna get exposed. I'm noticing a pattern with a lot of the PBC fighters, man. Inactivity is one of them. When they really do get in there with a real dog, a live dog, they get hit in the face, they all bow out. A lot of the guys do. You're seeing that there's levels of this game, and I think that I remember seeing him fight against Cruz, and I saw a different wrinkle to him, and he definitely boxed, but I did also saw that like he didn't like that toughness that Cruz brought. He didn't like that heat, and I know he had a hurt hand or whatever, so that could be part of it too, but I could just tell, man, the body language, me being an athlete, me being a fighter, my entire life, I just see certain things, certain intangibles in fighters, and I just feel that I see that with Tank. Things get hot in there, and he can't have his way. You can beat him. So a guy like Shakur Stevenson, if Shakur was to get in there and was to hit him and not get hit, he would definitely fold under pressure. That's what I feel. I think he will fold under pressure.
So that's a comment directly from Tim Bradley, which I thought is interesting. So when you think about it, initially he's comparing Isaac Cruz and the fact that Isaac Cruz was essentially bringing the heat, if you will, based off what Tim Bradley is saying to Gervonta Davis, and he didn't like that heat. Guys, riddle me this. What fighter enjoys being in a ring with a pressure fighter? What fighter have you seen that enjoys a fight with a pressure fighter? Somebody that's going to keep bringing that pressure to you. I mean, that's just what it is. There's no fighter that you're going to actually say, yeah, they enjoy that heat. No one does. Now, he did mention that Tank had a hurt hand and still beat Isaac Cruz. But based off of that performance and quote unquote his body language, he feels that he wouldn't be able to stand that heat. Essentially, he would fold. So now he's making that comparison to Shakur Stevenson, basically saying that heat he would fold. Riddle me this. So we know that Shakur Stevenson is not a pressure fighter, and we know that he doesn't have a lot of pop. So exactly what pressure is he going to fold under? Now, I get what he was trying to say when he went down the path of saying that Shakur Stevenson, if he was hitting and not getting hit, that Tank may get frustrated maybe, but not being able to take the heat from Shakur Stevenson, just making that comparison, because I think most normal people would draw that comparison based off what he said in that statement. It's just not going to happen because I don't think Shakur is going to bring quote unquote heat. But I do get his point. What ends up happening when Gervonta Davis ends up facing Shakur Stevenson, and what if he can't hit Shakur? Do we really believe that Tank won't be able to hit Shakur at all? This isn't a slow-footed, slow fighter in Tank Davis. He's one of the fastest fighters in the division, and Shakur Stevenson has appropriately deemed him as the other best lightweight in the division. So do you really believe that Tank won't be able to hit Shakur at all? Really? I see that as a very close contest. I got a lot of respect for Shakur Stevenson. I mean, he's an excellent fighter in terms of being able to control distance and his defensive prowess. All of that is excellent as far as I'm concerned relative to Shakur Stevenson. But make no doubt about it, Gervonta Davis has a high level of skill himself, and he has that big equalizer punching power. So I'm not saying that Tank's going to win. I'm not saying that Shakur Stevens is going to win, because I haven't really sat down and actually looked and studied both fighters to see where one fighter's strength may be a weakness of the other fighter. So I'm not going to say who won or who will win. But the notion that he is going to get, quote unquote, exposed by Shakur Stevenson, or the right fighter, if you will, is just Tim Bradley, in my estimation, showing that he has a true bias towards individuals who are associated with Top Rank, and he has a bias, an unfavorable bias, towards fighters that are affiliated or associated with the PBC. And he made the statement that all PBC fighters, once they get hit, they fold. That's not true. Now, we did see that recently. We saw that in Jermell. We saw that in Cool Boy Steph. We saw that. No doubt about it. We didn't see that in Errol. Errol didn't fold. He just lost. He lost to a better fighter that night. It is what it is. But he clearly has a bias for all these PBC fighters, and he has a disdain for Gervonta Davis. It's not the first time he's made comments in regards to Gervonta Tank Davis for whatever reason. He just finds Tank unappealing, if you will. Now, I've said on several occasions that I think Tank needs to get... Oh, let me back up. Not only did he say that he will fold to Shakur Stevenson, he also said that both Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney would also beat Tank. They would expose him, because Teofimo and Teofimo and Devin Haney, they punch back. And that Devin is underrated in terms of his ability in being strategic and tactical in the ring. And don't get me wrong, all of those fights are excellent fights. And I don't believe that Tank will just blow these guys out. These guys are really good fighters. These guys are great fighters. But saying that Tank would get exposed by these guys, and that we know Tank gets behind the fights because he's always processing. Now, when Terrence Crawford gets behind in fights, he's just processing information and figuring you out. But when Tank gets behind, he's just lost and clueless. Is that what we're saying? Like, come on. Tank IQ is underrated. Shakur Stevenson has talked about the level of IQ that he sees in Gervonta Davis. It's completely underrated. So we got to stop with the overall hating on this fighter. This guy is an excellent fighter, very, very talented. I'm not saying that he beats all those guys. I don't know. I have to sit down and really observe and see which ones. I would lean towards Tank because he has the equalizer, which is that power. And he's just as skilled as every one of those fighters. And we all know this. So, Tim, I don't know what it is that you have against PBC. I don't know, did Al Heyman do something to you, or I don't know what it is. But, bruh, you did get the Terrence Crawford fight right. I give you all the praise for that. And certainly, you know boxing because you've been in the sport for a very long time. But just because you've been in the sport for a very long time doesn't mean you also don't have a bias towards certain fighters. And that may cloud your opinion. So you guys tell me what you think in the comment section in regards to what Tim Bradley had to say. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, M Sports Media, and I am